Battle Pass is the current big trend in the AAA gaming industry. Almost every big game now has it, motivating players to not abandon the game and keep playing it in order to receive special rewards. And while this trend is better than the lootbox craze that we've seen not so long ago, Battle Passes are not without issues either. Recently I went out of town for a few weeks to get my shitty health back in shape, and breaking out of my daily routine got me thinking about the problematic nature of modern Battle Pass design. Like any idea, Battle Pass is not something ultimately bad, but what matters is implementation. In theory, there is nothing wrong with motivating players to occasionally go back to the game. Skins, emotes, and other cosmetic rewards that are not affecting the gameplay directly is a nice way to keep players engaged. But the problem is, once the AAA gaming industry is discovering something new, these companies are starting to shamelessly exploit this new hot idea as much as possible and see how far they can go with it. And this is how interesting design ideas turned into monstrosities like loot boxes, pay-to-win microtransactions, and now battle passes. I haven't seen a lot of discussions about them in the gaming media, so I think I should point out what exactly I don't like in the Battle Pass design, because it's not easy to grasp what's so bad about it, and so it's important for everyone to understand what's the purpose of Battle Pass, how it's affecting you as a player, and why almost every big game now has it. Okay, let's try to analyze what exactly is wrong with this new trend. As I've already said, the main purpose of Battle Pass is to make you spend more time in the game. Usually Battle Pass lasts for around 2-3 months and has time-limited rewards that you can get only during that season. The amount of time that is required to complete a season and get all rewards can be around 100 hours or even more in some cases. From my experience, if you want to fully level up your Battle Pass, it will require you to play the game for at least an hour or two on a daily basis. It doesn't sound so bad at first glance, but if you play more than one game, then it's starting to become a problem. All those games designed in their own bubble, they simply don't expect that player would play anything else. And with more and more games releasing and having their own Battle Pass, the situation is becoming kinda ridiculous. If you enjoy playing those games but don't want to miss out on rewards, then you are being forced to play only them, or pay money to skip or speed up the grind. So basically, the game asks you to pay additional money in order to not play it. It's Time Savers DLCs all over again, but instead of one-time purchase, you're expected to pay every new season. Keep in mind that this is not a balance mistake. Just like with those time saviors, Battle Pass is designed the way to make you want to skip the grind on purpose. Yeah, to level up faster, you can complete daily tasks and challenges that are usually simple enough to finish them within an hour. There are also seasonal challenges that you can finish during the whole event, but the problem is some of those tasks require you to play game modes that you might hate or use weapons that you might not like to use. Not to mention that the amount of daily tasks is limited, which is pushing you to return to the game every day to reduce the grind. So the game pressures you to not just play for fun, but to focus on grinding Battle Pass challenges. Because if you won't complete those tasks and don't want to pay additional money, then you probably won't get your rewards. By the way, rewards that you've already paid for when you bought Battle Pass. Essentially, you are buying a chance to participate in grind, and this chance has a predefined expiration date, and that alone feels like a scam for me. One of the main problems of modern Battle Pass design is that all those games simply don't respect your time. There's no middle ground anymore, because every single AAA game now has been turned into a service that people are supposed to play continuously. But companies keep releasing new games as services to the point they start competing for players' interest not even against each other, but with their own games that were released a few years ago. So in this new gold rush, those companies are oversaturating the market and literally fighting against themselves. And it baffles me that everyone suddenly forgot that players don't have unlimited free time and can't play every single game as a service available on the market. Personally, I have a full-time job and spend a lot of time on my YouTube channel, so I simply can't keep up with all those seasons and timed events even in a single game, hence trying to keep up with more of them at once. Another big problem of battle passes is that they suck the fun out of games, and you don't even notice that. The way those daily and season challenges are designed, they turn the game into tedious work. You are basically paying to do a job. Play on this map, get 3 headshots, subscribe to my channel, win a match, and other trivial but routine tasks like that. These days, game designers are focused too much on turning their games into an endless checklist simulator, and they know what they're doing. You might not want to do all that stuff, but you are being tricked into doing them, because otherwise you will have a feeling that ignoring those tasks will be a missing opportunity. And even if you don't really care about Battle Pass, you'll still think something like, hey, maybe I should play the game today and complete new dailies. So you start to play it every day even if you don't really want to play it, simply because the game always keeps a constant pressure on you with those time-limited rewards and challenges.
Unlock the Battle Pass right now, or upgrade to the bundle to immediately unlock those first 25 levels and become the perfect soldier.
And that's where we get to the biggest danger of battle passes. Have you ever wondered why there are limits on XP that you can get daily? What's the point in motivating players to play less but on a daily basis instead? Yeah, such thing as the daily active users metric exists, but it's just one of the goals of Battle Pass. Another main goal is to get you hooked on the game, to turn it into a part of your daily routine. Basically, to make you addicted to the game, so you will always keep thinking about it. Because if you are addicted to something, it's a lot easier to convince you to spend money on it. And doing repetitive grindy challenges on a daily basis and having long-lasting goals such as Battle Pass makes you feel like you are invested in the game. And that's worrying, because the feeling that the game is providing you more value because you are playing it for more time, it's just an illusion. A masterfully, I would even say devilishly designed illusion. If you are playing right away to unlock something you want, then you can just play for fun without any pressure and eventually drop the game once you lose interest in playing it. But if you'll decide to save the money and grind instead, you will feel more attached to the game and end up dropping even more money on it in the long run than if you would have paid once and forget about it. Battle Pass is just a part of the long-run trend in the AAA gaming industry on creating unhealthy hype culture around their products and exploiting players' FOMO, the fear of missing out. Pre-order bonuses, games as services, loot boxes, big game companies are focused right now on making their products as desirable as possible. And with every new trend, the ways those companies are trying to monetize the players are becoming more and more shady. And I really don't like that, because each time it becomes harder to recognize those tricks at first glance, without doing an in-depth analysis like I've tried to do in this video. That's why I'm a little worried about Doom Eternal. They've promised that the game won't have microtransactions, but it's going to have a battle pass, and nothing is stopping them from adding microtransactions later. I would be glad to be wrong about this one, but this industry taught me to always be prepared for the worst. The main argument in defense of Battle Pass mechanics is that most of those rewards are just cosmetics and, in theory, you can easily ignore them. And yeah, I can't deny one positive thing about Battle Passes. Unlike the loot boxes, there is no gambling involved with them, so you know what you're getting for your money. But it was discussed many times before. The majority of players actually do care about cosmetics, and for them, they are not that optional. It's simple: if cosmetics were really that meaningless, then loot boxes weren't that profitable and didn't cause so much controversy. Same goes to battle passes. If no one would have cared about those rewards, then what's the point of doing all this grind in order to get them? Because, as I've already said, publishers are doing everything to cultivate the hype culture around their games. They want you to be excited for whatever next is coming from them, to make you think that if you won't buy the game day one and ignore Battle Pass, you will miss something important. But it's not true, you don't need all this stuff, and it definitely shouldn't affect the way you are playing your games. So, for those who are playing one or more games with battle passes and wondering right now if it harmfully affects your gaming habits, it's relatively easy to find out if it's true. Just try to do a short break from grinding those damn challenges. It shouldn't be 2 weeks like it was in my case, but something like 3 or 4 days would be more than enough. After that, look at the game and think about it. Do you really want to come back and start doing this again? It doesn't mean that you will stop playing those games completely, but you'll probably stop forcing yourself to play them on a daily basis. At least this is what happened in my case. I was playing Quake Champions and Gears 5 almost daily, but after taking a break I realized that I shouldn't feel obligated into playing them to unlock some time-limited rewards. I still play those games occasionally, but I'm not playing them for Battle Pass, but because I have fun playing them. Crazy, right? As for developers and publishers, I know that probably none of them would watch this video, since my channel is too small, but I still want to address a few things to them. First and foremost, developers need to stop living in their bubble and realize that most people don't have time to play all those service games with battle passes at once. This new gold rush creates an unhealthy situation on the market when it's more and more difficult to break in for new games, because people just keep playing older titles and see no reason to buy a new one. Not every game is suitable for that kind of model, and extensive grind might eventually exhaust players, so they'll feel burned out and drop your game completely. Balance the amount of XP that is required to complete Battle Pass. Stop trying to make it as grindy as possible, and respect players who don't want to play your game obsessively. And finally, Battle Pass rewards should not expire for players who bought them. Ever. Seriously, the time limit for getting something you've already paid for is just gross. Every owner of Battle Pass should have the ability to get all rewards even after the end of the season. That would make Battle Passes a lot less harmful and dangerous, but at the same time it will probably make them less profitable, so yeah, I doubt that this would ever happen. In conclusion, the AAA gaming industry really needs to stop trying so hard to pressure the players into spending more money with those shady psychological tricks. Not every game should be a long-lasting experience, and players shouldn't feel pressured into playing them. First and foremost, games should be about fun, and every player should decide on his own how much time he wants to spend on the game, without being exploited by game design. Honestly, it's so tiring to deal with all this crap. It's the main reason why I don't play online games a lot anymore. And it's kinda annoying when those new hot trends are being mindlessly showed into single player games as well. So yeah, I'm a little worried about some of the upcoming games I was looking forward to, and that's why I decided to make this video and share my thoughts about this whole situation. By the way, what do you personally think about this new Battle Pass trend? Do you agree that they can be problematic, or you think otherwise? Share your opinion in the comments, and if you agree with my points, please don't forget to subscribe and share this video so more people would think about this problem. Your support really matters for me and motivates to create more in-depth analysis like this one. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys again on my YouTube channel.